The rolling grounds of Windsor Castle on a crisp British morning. Two figures on horseback, silhouetted against the ancient stone walls. A father and daughter, riding side by side through one of the most turbulent storms the royal family has ever faced. But this isn't just any morning ride. This is Princess Beatrice making a statement without saying a single word. While her sister reportedly walks away, Beatrice chooses to stay. The question everyone's asking is simple, yet impossibly complex. Why? This is the story of loyalty, family, and the impossible choices facing the daughters of Britain's most controversial prince. To understand the weight of that horse ride, we need to go back to when Prince Andrew was known as Randy Andy, the Queen's favorite son, a decorated war hero who flew helicopters in the Falklands. Back to when his daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, were simply two young princesses who adored their father. Born in 1988, Princess Beatrice has always been described as thoughtful, intelligent, and fiercely protective of those she loves. She struggled with dyslexia as a child, and her father was reportedly her greatest champion, encouraging her when others doubted. Fast forward to today, and that same father is no longer a decorated prince. He's Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a man stripped of his military titles, his royal patronages, and his HRH status. A man who settled a civil lawsuit out of court. A man many believe should fade into permanent obscurity. But Beatrice hasn't forgotten who stood by her when she needed support. And now, as the world watches and judges, she's returning the favor. The fall of Prince Andrew didn't happen overnight. It was a slow-motion collapse that began with whispers and ended with a catastrophic interview on BBC Newsnight in November 2019. You remember that interview? The one where he claimed he couldn't sweat. The one where he said he was at Pizza Express in Woking. The one that made even his most loyal supporters wince. For Beatrice and Eugenie, known as the York sisters, this wasn't a public relations disaster. This was their father's life imploding on national television. Reports suggest Beatrice begged her father not to do that interview. He didn't listen, and the consequences were catastrophic. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. While both sisters initially stood by their father, cracks began to appear. Eugenie, married to Jack Brooksbank and now living partly in Portugal, has reportedly created distance. Sources claim she's cut ties with Andrew, choosing to protect her own young family and reputation. Beatrice made a different choice. Married to property developer Edoardo Mapelli Mazzi, with a blended family and a stepdaughter she adores, Beatrice had every reason to follow her sister's lead. Her husband's business reputation, her own standing in society, even the future prospects of her daughter Sienna all hung in the balance. Yet there she was, on horseback at Windsor, riding alongside the man the world had condemned. Let's talk about that ride. It wasn't announced. There was no press release, no official statement. It was simply captured by photographers who'd staked out Windsor Castle, hoping for a glimpse of the reclusive prince. What they got was so much more powerful than they'd anticipated. Princess Beatrice, dressed casually in riding gear, her red hair catching the morning light. Beside her, Prince Andrew, looking older than his years, the weight of his fall from grace visible in every line of his face. Neither smiling for cameras, neither hiding either. Body language experts would later analyze every detail. The way Beatrice leaned toward her father. The protective nature of her posture. This wasn't obligation. This was choice. But why? Why would a successful, intelligent woman in her 30s risk her own reputation for a father whose actions had brought shame to the family? The answers aren't simple, and they reveal something profound about the complexity of family loyalty. Some royal insiders suggest guilt plays a role. Beatrice reportedly feels she should have done more to stop that disastrous interview. Others point to gratitude for a father who supported her through difficult times, including her struggles with dyslexia and the intense media scrutiny she faced over her appearance in her younger years. But there's another layer. Andrew's relationship with his ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, Beatrice's mother, remains close. They still live together at Royal Lodge despite divorcing decades ago. For Beatrice, abandoning her father might mean fracturing an already complicated family dynamic even further. And then there's this uncomfortable truth. Beatrice has always been daddy's girl. The public reaction to Beatrice's continued support has been divided, fierce, and deeply emotional. On social media, the criticism was immediate. She's enabling him, some said. Blood isn't thicker than justice, others argued. Survivors of abuse expressed hurt and betrayal, seeing Beatrice's actions as a dismissal of their pain. But there were defenders too. She's his daughter, not his judge, they countered. Family doesn't abandon family, others insisted. The debate revealed a fundamental question that society struggles to answer. What do we owe our family members when they've done terrible things? Royal experts weighed in with fascinating perspectives. Some noted that King Charles himself faces an impossible dilemma. As king, he must protect the institution of the monarchy. As a brother, there may be affection, or at least familial obligation. His solution has been distance, allowing Andrew to live at Royal Lodge, but keeping him far from official duties. Beatrice's position is even more precarious. She's not a working royal. She doesn't receive public funding. Technically, she's free to make her own choices. But she carries a royal name, a title, and with that comes expectation. Perhaps most telling is the reported rift with her sister Eugenie. Once inseparable, the York sisters now appear to have taken dramatically different paths. Eugenie has reportedly distanced herself to protect her children and her husband's business ventures. She's building a life away from royal controversy. Beatrice stated, she chose the harder path, the one that invites judgment and criticism. And that choice says something powerful about her character, whether we agree with it or not. Let's step back from the judgment for a moment and examine what this story really reveals about modern royalty and the impossible positions these individuals face. Princess Beatrice exists in a strange liminal space. She's royal enough to face intense scrutiny, but not royal enough to receive the protection and resources working royals enjoy. She has a title she didn't choose, a father whose actions she can't control, and a public that demands she take a side. Some psychologists who study family dynamics suggest that Beatrice may be experiencing what's called traumatic loyalty, a deep bond that forms when families face crisis together. Others point to cultural expectations around daughters, suggesting that society often expects women to be caretakers and emotional anchors even when it costs them personally. But there's something else happening here too. In an age where cancel culture often demands complete disavowal, Beatrice is modeling something different. Messy, complicated, imperfect loyalty. She's not defending her father's actions. She's not making excuses. She's simply refusing to abandon him. Is that admirable or misguided? The answer might depend on your own experiences with family, forgiveness, and the limits of loyalty. Prince Andrew remains largely isolated at Royal Lodge, that sprawling 30-room mansion he's fighting to keep despite King Charles reportedly wanting him to downsize. His reputation is in tatters. His future as a royal is non-existent. But he's not completely alone. Beatrice continues to visit. She brings her daughter Sienna. She rides horses with him on the Windsor grounds. She maintains a relationship that much of Britain finds incomprehensible. Meanwhile, Eugenie builds her life in Portugal, posting carefully curated family photos that notably exclude her father. The contrast couldn't be starker. King Charles walks a tightrope, trying to modernize the monarchy while managing family drama that threatens to overshadow his reign. Queen Camilla reportedly has little sympathy for Andrew. Prince William has made his feelings clear through pointed silence. And in the middle of it all is Beatrice, a woman trying to be a good daughter, a good mother, a good wife, and a respectable member of society, all while the world watches and judges her every move. That horse ride at Windsor Castle was more than just a morning activity. It was a statement, a declaration, a choice. Princess Beatrice could have taken the easy path. She could have followed her sister's lead, created distance, protected her own reputation. Instead, she chose loyalty over comfort. She chose her father over public opinion. And she did it knowing full well the cost. History will judge whether that choice was right or wrong. But perhaps that's the wrong question entirely. Perhaps the real question is this. In a world that increasingly demands we choose sides, cancel completely, and never forgive, what does it mean to love someone imperfectly? What do we owe the people who shaped us, even when they've fallen? Beatrice doesn't have those answers. None of us do. But she's living the question every single day, in the most public way imaginable. As for what comes next, that remains to be seen. Will Beatrice and Eugenie reconcile their different approaches? Will Andrew ever truly understand the sacrifice his daughter is making? And will the public ever forgive either of them? One thing is certain, That image of father and daughter riding side by side through the grounds of Windsor Castle will endure, a symbol of loyalty or enabling, of love or delusion, of family bonds that refuse to break, no matter how much the world demands they should. The story of Princess Beatrice and her disgraced father is far from over. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is simply show up, even when everyone's watching, even when no one understands.